What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you stopping by for the first time, if you see something that you like here today, please don't forget to subscribe at some point. Those of you stopping by that have been here before, welcome back to TLTG Reviews, my friends. Glad you came to see me. So, to those of you newer to the channel, this setup may look very, very different because this, in fact, is the angle from my very first video on this channel, because today marks the 1-year anniversary of this channel when I uploaded my very first video. It was totally different phone, lower quality, didn't have the right setup, the lighting was bad. The lighting's not that great in this situation because I could only put my ring light so far over, because the TV you normally see in my videos is right behind my phone right now. So we're going to make this an annual thing to celebrate the annual anniversary for the channel. And today we're covering my top 10 not so citrusy summer fragrances. Stay tuned. So just before we jump into, the 10 fragrances that I picked out for this and explain what the video is all about, I just want to take a moment to thank all of you that, whether you're subscribed or not, that have ever watched any one of my videos. Been a very interesting journey over the last year. I've met a lot of great people. I've, collaborated with a lot of great people. I've gotten to know a lot of great people. It's been more than I thought it would be in the first year. I did have goals set for first month, 90 days, 6 months, a year, so on and so forth. And I've, because of you guys, I have surpassed those goals by a few thousand. I was hoping to be at 10,000 by the time I hit 1 year, because I thought that was a pretty far and wide stretch. Or initially the goal was 7,000, and that pushed. And the recording of this, I'm almost at 13,900. So once again, thank you so much. I can't believe I have such an audience that want to sit here and listen to me talk about fragrances, So this is going to be an annual thing where July 12th every year is when I'll drop top 10 not so citrusy summer fragrances. So what is a not so citrusy summer fragrance in my definition? So that's going to be a very fresh summertime hot weather fragrance that's not dominated by citruses. It may have a little citrus, but it's in the background. It's not a dominant note or dominant player in the fragrance. This is more rosemary, fresh, spicy, herbal, tonics, stuff like that are just really, really fresh fragrances that just aren't full of citrus. So let's jump into the first one. So going into number 10 is one that I haven't had real long, and there is a little bit of citrus in it, some green mandarin, but it's mainly tomato leaf and a very beautiful fresh iris that's used in this one. It's from Valentino. It's the discontinued MO Aqua. So like I said, bear with me on the lighting. It is what it is. It's still a lot better than my very first video last year of this same thing. So with this one, it's discontinued. It's not real difficult to get a hold of. This is a 75 ml. You can also get it in a 125 ml. Very, very fresh fragrance. Very great office type of wear. Doesn't have a lot of longevity on it. Projection is nothing to write home about. God, that smells so good. But the beauty of this one is it's very pleasing, and it doesn't smell like your average fresh fragrance. It's unfortunate that it's been discontinued, but it's still, like I said, readily available, easy to get a hold of a bottle, and one that I urge you give a try. You can get samples online, eBay, places like that, Amazon. It's one that's definitely worth, like I said, at least giving a try. I am a big fan of it. I think it smells great because I love floral notes. I love fresh, spicy. And this is right up my alley. And at the number 10 spot, Valentino MO Aqua. Next, moving into number 9, is one that, doesn't really get a lot of press. It got mixed reviews, more bad than good, kind of meh reviews when it came out. It's the least popular from its own line, which there are several fragrances in this line, and I think it's unfairly underrated. I believe if more people sampled it, they'd enjoy it more. It's from Guerlain, L'Homme Ideal Sport. So this is that infamous almond note that this line is known for, but it's a watery aquatic, not dominated by citrus by any means. it's different, you know? It's very, very watery. The watery notes are very prominent in this one. And that almond is extremely creamy. It smells great. It's a decent performer. I just think more people need to try it. And I think it's a unique fragrance for the summer, for hot weather. You're definitely not going to smell like anyone else if you put on Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Sport. It has no equal in terms of the uniqueness of the smell. Is it going to be for everyone? No, absolutely not. But I absolutely think it's underrated. I think it's a great fragrance. I do. I think if you want to smell different from everyone around you, if you got some friends that are really into fragrances and you want to step out on a ledge and maybe get outside the box of the norm and get away from ambroxan and heavy citruses and sweet fragrances, give this one a try. It's widely available. It's not really expensive, in the mid-40s range for a 100 ml, a little bit less than that in the 30s for a 50 ml. And it's different. Not bad different, in my opinion. Good different. The number 9 spot, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Sport. Extremely underrated. Moving into number 8. This is one that nobody really talks about it. It got some hype when it came out. It's a famed Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male flanker. I did find this at a rack store at the beginning of 2018. Was it the beginning of 2018? It was 2018, I believe, when I found. Late 2018, early 19, something like that. This was actually featured. This is a repeat from last year. I think this is a fantastic fragrance. It's Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male in the navy. Vanilla mint. If you like Versace Eros and fragrances like that, English Laundry, Oxford Blue, then this is going to be for you. This is an aquatic, watery version of that vanilla mint DNA. Decent performer. I get about 7 hours on my skin. It's one that I tend to forget that I have. I haven't really put much of a dent in this. I've only worn it a few times because it kind of sits in my shelf on its can, because a lot of you know they come in this big old can, and I forget I have it sometimes. And it's such a great scent, in my opinion. I think it smells great. And it falls right into this list. It'll probably make this list most of the time because it's ideal for it. This is a great, not so citrusy summer fragrance. Vanilla mint at its finest with some watery aquatic notes to it to really bring out that marine quality. Like I said, without adding any citrus, it's fresh. It's a decent performer. It's actually one of the better performers in this video. Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male in the navy. Next, this is another one. It's been featured a few times already this year on my channel. It's one that's under the radar. Cheapy. That smells great. Gin and tonic type of smell. Very fresh, spicy. Definitely not dominated by citruses. Underrated house, underrated fragrance. Vince Camuto. Homme. This is my jam right here, guys. This is a great, great fragrance. The gin and tonic smell on this, and it has tonic water as a note and gin as a note, and it's pretty much what it smells like in the opening. Little freshness, fresh spiciness. It's definitely a fresh fragrance. Great for the summer. I forget which citrus is in here. I want to say there's a little bit of bergamot or orange. I want to say it's bergamot, but it's way in the background. You get a little taste of it up top and it just goes away quickly. It definitely does not hang around. There's nothing citrus really about this fragrance. Like I said, this is that gin and tonic fragrance that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. I was mainly talking about this one. This is a tonic water type of smell. Not unique. It's things you've smelled before, but it kind of does its own thing. It's very, very fresh. You can get a 50 ml like this for 20 bucks at the rack stores, which is where I got this one. And online, same thing, 100 mls in the mid 20s. It's just a great underrated fragrance. Perfect in the hot weather. Smells incredible. You're not going to be able to stop smelling yourself. I know that's the case for me anyways. And that's Vince Camuto Homme. In my opinion, the best one from the house. Moving into the number 6 spot was actually, I actually wore it this week. This is recently featured in my top 10 cheap fragrances for young bucks, for younger men. And I stand behind it. It's not the strongest performer, but it's very fresh. Soapy iris, rosemary and pepper dominant, from Jaguar Pace. This is a fantastic cheap fragrance right here. And I don't know if you can see, I started to put a little bit of a dent in it because I sprayed it pretty heavy. It was my scent of the day yesterday, actually. Day before yesterday. And I sprayed it very heavy, and then when I refreshed later in the day, I sprayed it heavy again. It smells great. It really does. Soapy shower gel, as advertised, with some pepper. A little powdery in the dry down, but not much. The iris isn't so heavily floral as it is soapy. The rosemary and the pepper are really the stars of the show in this one. After the iris starts to really calm down from that heavy soapy quality, that aromatic soapiness that you get in the opening. And it's cheap, 14-15 bucks for a 60 ml like this at most discounters online. And then a 100 ml is gonna run you right about 20 bucks. Yeah, like I said, you're not breaking any molds with performance, 4 or 5 hour fragrance at best. But it smells really good. You're gonna smell fresh and clean. You're not gonna bother anybody. It doesn't project too heavy. It's a great, easy grab and go in the heat in the summer. Perfect for a casual day and perfect for work. Number 6 not so citrusy summer fragrance, Jaguar Pace. So before we jump into number 5, I just want to let everybody know that I did start a Teespring page. I've had it for a while, but I never really advertised it or anything like that. And I am running 20% off to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the channel. You know, you can get shirts like this, you know, get you a nice little coffee mug as well. Got a lot of new designs with the logo, hoodies, t-shirts, things like that. If you're interested, Teespring's right below this video, right here below. You can go to the store. TLTG20 will get you 20% off anything you want to purchase in the store. For anybody that's interested, just wanted to bring it up since we're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of TLTG Reviews. That's just something special that's running through the weekend all the way till Monday night. Moving into number 5, you can't have a not so citrusy summer fragrance video without one of the best not so citrus dominant summer fragrances of all time from Davidoff. Cool Water. You're not going to find citruses in this C Notes Lavender Mint Bomb. Pretty much what it is. Aromatic, C Notes and mint. It's a classic. And it's still cheap. It still performs. This is a staple for anyone's collection in the summer. This can be your signature scent. Hell, it's my brother's signature scent. Still to this day. He's been wearing Cool Water since he was a kid. I don't know what to say about this fragrance that hasn't been said 1,000 times over in the fragrance world. It's just a must-have. You can get a big 125 milliliter bottle like this in the $20 range everywhere. If you don't have this one yet, don't think you're going to smell like your dad or your grandpa. Try it for yourself. Grab a bottle. You're going to end up liking this one because this is a great fragrance and a staple in anyone's collection. The number 5 spot. Number 4 is not the most beloved fragrance. This is a repeat on this list from last year because I thoroughly enjoy it. One of my former bosses, this is his daily driver. He wears this on a daily basis to work, and he wears a suit every day. He's actually a general sales manager right now, and it's just his favorite, and I get it. It's a nighttime, it's geared towards the night, and that's what I would really use it for, but hey, it can work in any situation, really. From Burberry. Mr. Burberry. The Eau de Parfum. Patchouli heavy, still maintains a freshness, kind of a man of the night type of thing. You can absolutely wear this in the summer in the evenings. Going out to dinner, different events like that. You know, like I said, I know not everybody's a fan of this fragrance. Oh man, but I absolutely am. I thoroughly enjoy it. I haven't put the biggest dent in the world in here, but I have definitely used some sprays in this. I've worn this to many dinners over the 2.5 years or so that I've had this bottle. I think it's underrated. There's a lot of fragrances that are underrated in this list. I tend to go after stuff to not really smell like everyone else all the time. I do get a lot of popular things too, don't get me wrong, but the things I tend to wear more happen to be stuff like this that I know for sure most people around me aren't going to be wearing, and I'll have my own little uniqueness going with my style for that situation. And I think this is great for a summer's evening, and it's definitely not citrus dominant in any way. It's Mr. Burberry, the Eau de Parfum. Moving into number 3, this is some cheapy gold. If you like rosemary, you'll notice rosemary is featured pretty heavily on here because I do love the way rosemary smells in perfumery. It's a very fresh, spicy quality, and This is full of it. Has a nice soapy iris to it. It's from Zegna. Z. $16 if I remember correctly when you find them at the rack stores, which is where I got this one. Nothing special, you know, 5-hour fragrance, but for the price, the smell is great. Decent performer, super, super fresh, invigorating, very refreshing scent. Not dominated in any way. I believe there's a little bit of bergamot in here. Same thing as one of the others on the list, Vince Camuto Homme, and number 2 has a little bit of bergamot as well. But really dominated by rosemary and herbs. Very fresh and light herbs to really give it that quality. Like I said, this is cheapy gold. This is one that does not get talked about a whole lot. People do know about it, but if you don't know about it, I'm here to tell you, if you can get your hands on this one, it's not going to smell like everything else you have. If you're tired of just always smelling like lemons and oranges in the summer and just C notes all the time because that's so dominant in fragrances now and in Broxton, try Zegna Z. Some really good stuff at a really good price, and it's definitely not full of citrus. So at the number 2 spot was actually the number 1 for last year's version of this video. It did get bumped out by another one, but I still think it's fantastic. It's a very similar scent profile to Z by Zegna, but it's just a little bit better. It's from Issey Miyake. Le Bleu d'Issey Eau Fraiche. That's right. This is rosemary done right. Has a little bit of bergamot in it as well, but it's a very faint note in the background. This is rosemary. It's crisp, it's invigorating, it's refreshing, and it's cheap. 20 bucks or less for a 75 ml like this online. It's been discontinued, but it's still widely available, easy to get, still very cheap. Is it a strong performer? No, it's kind of heavy on projection, but 5-6 hours and then it really fades. It's that first hour and a half though, it's really coming off your skin. And when you spray this on when you're hot and sweaty in the middle of the summer, this absolutely cool you off and refresh you. Fantastic cheapie. Hell, it was number 1 last year. Fell 1 spot this year because the next one I find is just a little bit better. And that's Issey Miyake. Le Bleu d'Issey Eau Fraiche. And finally at number 1, this has been featured heavily this summer for me. It's one of my most worn fragrances. I do love this fragrance. It's just great to me, and it's underrated. You know, I'm pushing for it. I think it's a superstar. It's from Prada Lumlow, the baby blue back. Ginger, neroli, and iris are the most dominant notes in this fragrance, and it performs a lot better than you would think. I get every bit of 7 hours when I wear this fragrance. Sometimes 8. It's floating in the air. It smells so good. If you like soapy iris, which Prada's known for making soapy fragrances done right, the way the neroli and the iris come off with that bright and crisp, fresh, spicy ginger that's in this fragrance, it's arguable that it could be the best in the line. I do prefer, if I had to pick one, I'd go with the original, for as much as I love the Intense and as much as I love this one. But it's close. It's real close to taking the top spot from the line. It's great. More people need to try this. I can't say it enough. It's elegant, white Oxford type of stuff. You can dress it down, but in the high heat, this dresses up very well. No citrus to be found. The number 1 not so citrusy summer fragrance of 2020, according to me, in my opinion. Absolutely Prada Lumlow. Well, that was my 10 guys. Thank you so much for those of you that have been here from the beginning and remember this setup the way it was. You know, the Who Dat sign over there is covered by some graduation balloons from my son's recent graduation from high school. It's been incredible. You know, 1 year down, you know, man, it's just been awesome. Thank you all so very much for sticking with me. For those of you that watch me on a daily basis, because you know I like to bring daily content. I know some of you are disappointed that the weekly rotation didn't come out today, but don't worry, it will come out on Monday. The weekly rotation is still on. I just wanted to do my annual anniversary video, because that's what it's going to be from now on, and bring you my picks for the top 10 not so citrusy summer fragrances. And until next time, do me a real quick favor and go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. How many of you were here for the very first video? How many of you have seen that video? I'll actually put that right there if you want to check it out. It's a little cringeworthy, don't get me wrong, but that's the video that started it all. I was so nervous to do that. You can tell in the video, and a lot's changed since then. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the fragrances that we discussed here today, give them a spray now. No doubt in my mind you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.